Locking them up and throwing away the key is not how the state of Washington runs its prisons anymore. The Department of Corrections is phasing out solitary confinement. Every prison now offers college courses and career training. Incoming inmates are screened to see if they'll need mental health or addiction treatment. All programs aimed at rehabilitation and keeping offenders from breaking the law when they're released. According to the Department of Corrections, the programs are working. In 2015, 34% of offenders reoffended within 3 years of their release. In 2020, that number dropped to 22%.
There's hardly a more successful anti-crime effort than this one right here on this graph. And we ought to be proud of it in the state of Washington.
But Governor Jay Inslee says there's more work to be done and convened a panel of state employees to come up with suggestions.
We have overwhelmingly heard feedback requesting more mental health services.
Ty Reed is in a brand new position at the state's employment department, working with recently released offenders.
Ty, take a minute, tell us your story. How'd you end up doing this work?
I was a pretty successful sales and business development representative working for a Fortune 50 company in 2007. But was harboring a pretty dark secret, which is that I was addicted to alcohol and crack.
His addiction resulted in suicide attempts and several arrests on drug and theft charges. But he got into treatment and stayed out of prison, thanks to support from his family and community. Along with working for the state, he started a nonprofit offering career counseling to those just getting out. He says the state needs to keep supporting those who are serving time.
95% of the people who enter into facilities in Washington state are ultimately going to be back in the community. And it really comes down to a choice for folks. What kind of neighbor do you want?
I spoke with State Representative Gina Mossbrucker. She is a representative on the Reentry Committee. She's the highest ranking Republican on that committee. She acknowledges the state is doing good work for those inmates. She would just like to see the state prioritizing that help and funding for the victims and survivors of those crimes. Joyce?
And Drew, keeping offenders from reoffending, doesn't that save the state money?
It does. And the State Department of Corrections threw out a fun fact today. They say that every dollar that is spent on these programs saves the state $19 in the long run, because if you keep these offenders from reoffending, they won't be back in the state facilities on the state's dime. Back to you.
Makes sense. Drew Mickelson reporting in Olympia tonight.